Just keep
So, so we had all kinds of technical difficulties this morning. Well, just for this show. Oh, let's see what's happening. What's happening? Happy first day of summer, the longest day of the year. So get out there and enjoy it. Hopefully by midday or some point, the day will get less drearier. Right now, it is unbelievably cloudy. I think it kind of rained overnight. It's kind of damp outside. So this is not a happy solstice day. But, listen, in homage to my sister friend, Dr. Deco Muhammad, I'm grateful for the rain because there are places in the world where it has not rained. So I'm grateful, and I have to consistently remember and remind myself that it is not an inconvenience to be in the rain. It is a blessing because if we didn't have any rain here, God, what would happen to us? So I'm just saying. Harry, you have the mouse? So we we just having a day. It's the longest day of the year, Harry. Oh my God. We are just having a time. So listen, it's the first day of summer. I gotta do it. I gotta do it one more time. I did it yesterday. I gotta do it today. Because today is the official start of summer. And it ain't summer until you hear this.
Drums, please.
Summertime. 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 Oh, I've been waiting all year for summer. Although you can't tell it today, but you know what? It'll be all good. It'll be all good. So somebody asked me to read something. June is oh Lord, let me find this daggone PSA. Yes, it's the PSA. What did she do with it? I'm gonna try to read it. From the Humane Commission. This is from the Humane Commission. Let's see. Go for Gold. Go for Gold raffle. New Haven Humane Commission promotes dog licensing with raffle. Throughout the month of June 2019, when you purchase your dog's license, you will be entered in a raffle for prizes donated by A Dog's Life, the Better Beagle Company. The Better Beagle Company gifts, GIFs, Good Dog Tales, Patero, Pause and Effect, Dog Training Center, Pet Value, and the Robin L. Krugman New Haven Animal Shelter. Purchase a gold dog license at the Robin Krugman New Haven Animal Shelter at 81 Fournier Street, which is in my neighborhood, Monday through Saturday, 12:30 to 4:30, or the city clerk's office at 200 Orange Street, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Licenses cost $8 for spayed and neutered dogs and $19 for unaltered dogs. Current rabies vaccination certificates must be presented at the time of purchase. Drawing for the prizes will be on July 2nd, 2019 at the animal shelter. You can find you can find out more or view the prizes on our Facebook page. Facebook, City of New Haven Humane Commission. And at the address, City of New Haven Humane Commission, 81 Fournier Street, New Haven, 06511 203 946 8110. Done. That's my community service readout for today. I had to get it in. So now I'm trying to think of all the cool summer songs that I could think of that I like to hear. Oh my God, I don't even know what makes me think of summer. I think something by Jill Scott would be appropriate. Uh, let's see. I woke up and I had Wu-Tang on my mind this morning. I don't ask me why. Some of the craziest things get on my mind. But that's okay. I can get with it. You know what? I can play a little Will Smith, Get Jiggy with It. That's summary. Na 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 na. Yeah, we'll do that.
Bring it.
Oh yes. Uh uh uh. Yeah, that's got to put you in the mood. That's got to put you in the summer mood right there. Like back to back Will Smith, Fresh Prince kind of thing. That should put you in the. I don't know if it doesn't. I don't know what will because uh listen, that's all I know. So happy Friday. Hey, shout out to Rhode Island. They codified their rights to abortions. They codified that into law, so it cannot be undone. Woohoo! Go ahead, Rhode Island. It's been a long fight. There's been like a, I don't know, 30, 40-year fight. But with new leadership in their legislature, it got done. And so I'm excited to report that out. But on the flip side, oh God, it just never damn ends with these fights about women's reproductive rights, and it is just daunting the foolishness that goes on. So I want to talk a little bit about what that means. And yes, let me see. Ha 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 ha. Okay. So I was trying to pull up because I'm on the board for Planned Parenthood, uh, New England, and the messages have been fast and furious about this. But uh, there's with the win in Rhode Island, there's also uh, the Ninth Circuit just allowed the Trump administration's dangerous gag rule to go into effect in every state except Maryland. This gag rule makes it illegal for healthcare providers in the Title X program to refer patients for abortion care and is also intended to block access to care at Planned Parenthood health centers. And so, as Planned Parenthood, we believe that this decision is wrong, and we will not stop fighting to protect access to critical health care like birth control and cancer screenings for millions of people with low income. So, y'all need to level up to your Planned Parenthoods and other reproductive right organizations and get it in. I would say spend your time and money with Planned Parenthood. And let's fight back because women have to have the right to choose what is in the best interest of their reproductive health. That's all I'm going to say. And that's how I feel. And that's it. So let me see what I got. Oh, let me see. I might want to play a little. Let me see. I'm in the mood for some. This might be a little interesting. Let me see, cause it's summer, and summer you want some groove, but the grooves that I want to play, I'm not sure if they are clean. so I gotta make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, cause I'm like sometimes there's some clean stuff and then there's not some clean stuff. So I'm just like, oh, what should I play? And I want to play something from We Invented the Remix. I do. So, but I'm a little nervous because some of this might be some of this might be it might be a little harsh. And I might have to leave that alone. Maybe Diddy Dirty Money, Last Train to Paris. I kind of, I might, I don't know. Harry, you moving it? What's clean, Harry? That's summer jamming. I don't know what to pick because I don't want to you know, play something to be like beep 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 deep deep dop bop bop. Gotta bleep it out. No, not birthday songs. Not anything with 2 Chains. Oh my, Two Live Crew, Harry? Are you kidding? Oh my God. I was thinking about something with the Notorious B.I.G. There's a song that I like that they when you get your friends, put your friends. Oh, there we go. Okay, we gonna play that. We can play that. It's clean. Okay, we're gonna play that. Another one. All right. Okay. Okay, another one. Bad Boys, P. Diddy, Rick Ross. I don't know. I didn't really love it, but I thought I wanted to play something that was sort of like that. I played it. It was clean, and Harry was like showed me how to pick out the clean stuff. So I'm gonna go in a complete opposite direction and play a little uh uh Bruno Mars. Why not? I like Bruno Mars. And oh, you know what? Oh, I see something I want to play. I know Michelle Turner does not like this song, which I don't know why she doesn't like this song. But this is a good summer song. This is a now it has become a great wedding song. And if you've seen The Best Man, you know this is the wedding song. But now everybody does it. And when you hear it in a party, black parties, you they jam. So, and if you don't hear this at a black party, you in the wrong party. Yes, like Candy. Candy. Yes. I'm telling you, that's a good summer song. That's a good summer song. I'm a stick to that. And I'm gonna give you some commanding life because it's Friday. You ought to have some. Got to get some words. Get some good words in you. Today's June 21st. It's the longest day of the year. It's the solstice. Let it go. Forgive yourself, the situation, and the person. Everyone has required forgiveness at some point. Have you ever been forgiven? Have you ever been forgiven? If you have, move past the difficulty of not giving it to others. You are given what you give. Compassion begins with understanding that most people are doing the best they know, and so are you. Forgiveness unburdens your soul, not theirs. And that's where I am today. So listen, let it go. People hurt you, people disappoint you, people let you down. What are you gonna do? Can't stay in that space. Just gotta let it go. And that's what I that's what I'm doing. Cause I don't got time for anything else. I got to move forward. I got to figure out my whole life. Like things have to be done, and I cannot be stuck in a place of upset or mad or unhappy or sad or pissed off. I just can't. I gotta move forward. I don't got time for that stuff. And a lot of times things are out of people's control. So you gotta go with that and move forward. I talked about that. Now I'm not one for forgiveness of like abuse. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about everyday, ordinary misunderstandings and miscommunications and those kinds of things. I'm not talking about those bigger things where some harm was done. I'm not standing in that space. But I am standing in the space of understanding forgiveness for these small things that that may change some of your plans or hold you up or whatever. Just let it go. Those are the things that you forgive for. Those are the things that you center yourself out of and allow it to just go on, like go around you or over you or whatever, so that you're not wasting time dwelling on that mess. So anyway, happy birthday, Lionel Richie. Lionel Richie from the Commodores. I was gonna play some Commodores, but Lionel Richie by himself has a whole damn body of work. Without the Commodores, it's like the Commodores is like now the Commodores the Commodores catalog is small compared to Lionel Richie's overall catalog. Like, and all the stuff he did for Kenny Rogers and all these other people. So listen, so I can play some stuff from Lionel Richie and never have to reference Cameo. Happy summer. Happy summer. And I'm glad. Today is Make Music Haven too. So there's music opportunities all over the city where people are performing. So get out, go to their website, and check out what they are doing. There's some really cool stuff going on, and you really should be about it. And this is an annual event, and well, this is I think it's what year 2, and there's 70 free performances, 50 musicians. I mean, this is a big deal. So 18 cities and regions across Connecticut will join 800 others around the world in the largest celebration of music ever to take place. Celebrate with us by attending one of the more than 70 performances and events throughout New Haven area and go make some music. So if you want to know what's happening, just go to makemusicnewhaven.org and you will see all the offerings. Indoor performances are running as scheduled, outdoor acoustic. If it's raining, we're going to let the artist decide whether or not to play. Outdoor amplified. If it's raining moderately or more, it's very likely the performance will be canceled. But I don't think it's raining now, but I can't see out the window. But I know it's not supposed to rain all day, so at some point it's gonna stop. So just go to makemusicnewhaven.org for the schedule and see all the offerings. I'm gonna try to catch something today. because I don't want this day to pass me by. And knowing that this is the longest day of the year, might be fun to just try to see how much stuff I can fit in. I was at Junta last night. I mean, Bregamos for the Salsa Junta party, fundraiser, and it was fun. The music was good, the food was good, the people were good. Happy birthday, Benita, yesterday. So we partied with her, and it was great. The music. I got pictures up on Facebook. Oh, some of y'all ain't following me on Facebook, and some of y'all won't. So you might have to just go check out the Junta people and see if they got some stuff up, because that's all I can tell you. But I posted some pictures of Benita getting it in. Squad, we were there hanging out, had a good time. The music was pumping. The Long Wharf new executive director rolled through, a couple other people. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was just the right sort of night, and it ended early enough where I felt like I had a good time, and then I went home. So there's stuff going on. Make New Haven, makemusicnewhaven.org. Go check that out. I'm gonna be over at the Yale Theater tonight and catch Home, that poem play about home and housing and that kind of thing. So I'm looking forward to that since I am technically homeless. Technically, I am homeless. Like when I move out of this house, I don't know where I'm going. Well, I don't know where I'm going right at this moment. So hopefully something magical will happen and I'll have a home at some point. I got storage shed though. How about that? So anyway, I'm gonna play myself out with a little Lionel Richie because it's his birthday. And I just thought this was a fun video when it first came out. Remember when MTV had videos? That's all they did. I remember seeing this video. Oh, what a feeling, dancing on the ceiling. Enjoy it. I'll be back tomorrow. No, I'll be back Monday. Motown. Bye.
My shirt look purple.
Nice.
Good
It looks
morning.
Nice.
And welcome
like
to
that color.
Dateline New Haven.
Nice.
I'm your host, Paul Bass, inviting you to look behind the headlines and the purple
Tell me now.
shirts to the stories that make New Haven.
Where you at?
Nothing ticks better than Pundit Friday,
better?
which is to begin here in the WNHH studio with the number one
better?
pundits in the media universe. Pundits like the dairy-free goddess of our grassroots radio operation, the belle of our ball, the managing editor of the Inner City News, and the host of WNHH's Love Babs Love Talk program, Babs Rawls-Ivy.
Happy summer.
Yeah.
All right.
First day, long day.
The
First day
queen
long.
of quippery, quintessence of compassion, La Voz Hispana publisher Norma Rodriguez-Reyes,
¿Qué pasa?
keeper of the flames of the past, and WNHA station manager, Heavy D. Donald Trump devotee Harry Dross, the bravest man in New Haven, and the preordained pastor and prophet of paradise, our DJ of deliverance, filial force of fortuitous fomentation, the ouster of obstinance and ostentation, the savior of civility, the hurricane of heavenly homily, the conqueror of cannabis commerce, the bright light in the New Haven night, the straight shooter from Bermuda, the mystical and metaphorical man on the money, tackler of tempestuousness and tighten temperance, banisher of bilious bullies, prince of pleasantries and punkstrout, sorcerer of scientific solution, blessed beatboxer of banksters and bacchanalians, the just-in-time judge of jackals and jaybreed,
Love
my
it.
the
God.
sentinel of serenity, sincerity, and salvation, the poobah of unparalleled political passion and perspicacity, the righteous reaper of restitution, Mr. Top 2%er Joe Ugly
Yes.
of the Joe Ugly Show in the morning. How is everyone doing this morning?
Good morning. We're doing good. I'm doing good.
I'm hearing that the rain's going to let up in a couple of hours. And
I
we're
hope
going to have a
so.
sunny
Couple hours.
weekend.
Yes.
I'm ready.
I look forward to this weekend. I'm going to end the weekend with a nice cycling ride out.
Yeah, where are you heading?
I'm going up the Connecticut, up the Farmington Canal, all the way on into Mass. From New Haven to Mass, a group of us. And it's 60.4, closer to 5. 60,
Wow.
almost like 60 and a half.
On your bike.
On our bikes. Going to
So,
be
Joe, you
cycling.
used to be the guy in the
The
program
motorcycle
who
bikes
kept
or
wearing...
regular bikes?
Regular bike, cycle.
Although Joe's going to make some noises while he's
Oh,
riding.
there you
again.
go. Oh, absolutely.
But Joe used to be the guy in the show who was always worried about cars being able to drive
I
where
know,
they want
isn't that
without bikes
something?
in the way. What he did? You did a 180 here.
No, the parents. Let me talk to the parents right now. Be careful who you let your kids hang out with, because I was one of those car driving guys until I hung out too long with Paul Bass. Look at me now.
Well, I stopped riding. I'm walking. Hey, hey, did you guys hear this week about Detective and Detective? No, seriously.
No.
Detective and Detective. They did a really good job. And we're not allowed to say their real names.
Oh.
Oh, we're not.
I'll tell you why in a minute.
Okay.
But these guys are happening. Like, we want to do Cop of the Week in Independent. We can't because they don't want to. They want to be known as Detective. Because what? There's these two detectives, right? So one day in New Hallville, they happened to be right on Thompson Street. They kind of knew stuff was going on. They watched the guy shoot somebody, and they called it in, and they caught the guy like 10 minutes later, before other people got shot. Now then, that was on Tuesday.
They didn't want to give their name.
Right. So I said, let's do Cop of the Week. They said, no, they don't want out there because then their families get scared that people are going to try to get retaliation because they're putting tough guys behind bars. So the next day, Detective, they're out in they're in New Hallville again because what happened is there's someone
Sounds like a Sesame Street episode.
No, it works.
There have been a bunch of shootings in town recently. Sometimes there's an outbreak of shootings and people doing retaliation back and forth.
Right.
So now it's kind of cool. The police department, they get together. There used to be these turf wars that aren't there anymore. The New Haven detectives who work on this stuff, intelligence, they get together with people, the state state's attorney, but also the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, and the FBI, and they get together, U.S. Attorney, and say, okay, the shooting's happening. Who's going to retaliate? Who might get hit next? And they had the name of a guy, and they said, well, the guy's actually wanted. The New Haven police had arrested him 2 weeks ago on a weapons charge. He fought with them, but he got out. But the feds had a warrant for violation of probation. Say, let's get this guy off the street or catch up with them before he shoots someone and gets shot. And they get a warrant out for violation of probation. And the detective, they had some good sources. They thought this guy might be hanging out. He wasn't hanging out at home, but they heard he might be hanging on West Hazel Street. So they pull up to West Hazel Street, and the guy's sitting on a porch. And he looks at them and goes, oh, no, there's Detective. So even though they're plain clothes. So he runs into a house, and then they're all worried that John Larico says, Happy Friday. Thank you, John. And I just saw somebody else, Cassandra Rodriguez. Happy Friday.
Hey.
So he runs into the house on West Hazel Street around 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the afternoon. And they say, okay, we don't know if he has guns. The guy's kind of dangerous. So they start clearing out the block, blocking off the block. They're bringing the SWAT team. You can see the Independent. Now there's some photos. They got the heavy artillery out. They cost them all over the city, and they were worried there might be a shootout or something. They got people out of the house. And one guy was bummed. He's out there saying, I got a plumber in there. They won't let him leave, so now it's going to cost me a couple extra hours. But family members were upset because they worried this guy might get hurt, right? So in the end, they got it. And I was watching some detectives were pretty good. Like Elizabeth White was out there, and people seemed to trust her and worked with her to get the guy to come out without having any shooting or any problems. Because they had like the artillery, the cavalry was out there on West Hazel. But he came out and they got him. And for 2 days in a row, those detectives, I think, were able to prevent more shooting from happening to him. Because we always hear about when there are shootings, but we don't hear about shootings that don't happen.
Right.
So even though we can't say their names, I will say that they have come up quite a bunch of times in the last few months of being at the right place at the right time, not because of luck, but because you give me the eye.
No, because you made me nervous when you said they always seem to be in the right place.
Whoever wants to know who they are, they need to go into the NewHavenIndependent.org and see pictures of them.
No, actually they're not. They
oh, those are not their pictures?
Those aren't the two detectives.
Oh, bother me.
So, I know. What do you think, Babs?
I don't know. I mean, that's what they do, right? Policing.
Yeah, it's hard, though. It's hard to do it well and to have enough information. A lot of times the New Haven police are not connected enough. So dangerous situations happen because they don't have the trust of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
I remember years ago, I remember one incident that really was getting out of hand, and someone said, I need Holly Wazalewski here. This happened twice before she retired because that's someone I trust. And she was able to come and people come out peacefully.
But this is what they do, right? Because policing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Former police commissioner Babs Alzarevy is not impressed.
No. I mean, that's their job, though, right?
Okay.
I mean, that's what.
And we're not happy they do the job.
No, we are.
Because when it's done wrong, we're not too happy.
No, I'm happy that I don't. What are we supposed to? When they do their jobs, are we supposed to every time? Okay. Every time they do their jobs.
I thought this was unusual. I thought this is not the kind of stuff you see every day.
I wish this was stuff we saw every day instead of the other stuff. The beat down stuff. Yay!
And by the way, there's still not a new police chief.
Yeah.
Of course not.
It was finals now. They're down to 3 people.
Who? Do we know them?
Yeah, Tony Reyes, who's the acting chief.
We do know them.
Kenny Howell, who's a retired lieutenant, and Thad Red as retired assistant chief. Now, what happened apparently is the Reverend Boise Kimber has really dialed up the activism for Kenny Howell. He wants there to be an African-American chief who he has a good relationship with, keep the money flowing.
You know those shows on TV when they show you 3 houses and you got to eliminate one?
Did I just knock one down?
Yeah, you did. You knocked one of the cameras down. So
no,
Babs isn't on. It's okay.
Oh no, it's
maybe
not okay.
Harry at some point.
No, I'll make sure. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. You guys go ahead.
Okay, let Harry know.
No, I would just.
So this whole drama is playing out, and it's in the political season because Tony Harp now the mayor is getting pressure in the black community, not necessarily from rank and file people in the black community, but hey Joe, you might want to let Harry know. I think he could take care of it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it's this camera right in front of me.
We got to get like carrier pigeons.
See the
communicate
camera
with Harry
right in
when
front
our
of me?
show's on. What's going on?
Yeah. No, the one on the
Hey,
bottom.
Harry.
Don't touch none of that stuff.
Okay.
You're messing it up.
Okay. He'll come and fix it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that was
Just swing it.
Okay. So anyway,
Okay.
Babs and Norma and while Harry's fixing the camera here. Okay.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right. So guys, what do you think about this? It's become a big political season. Football.
I feel this is what I cannot tolerate. The level of
don't have it out there.
The level of influence
Tempting
peddling.
people.
As if we can't stop it.
But isn't the mayor responsible for that? She decides how she's going to make a decision. Are we making a decision, police chief, based on who's best as police chief, or about which pressure group will have the most perceived influence in an election year? So Boise Kimber isn't stupid. He likes to have influence, the Rev. So he pulls the right people to call the right people in when he wants a decision made that'll have someone who'll be friendly to him and the people he wants hired and to get contracts, that kind of stuff. So he gets certain African-American leaders in the community to say, yeah, we want this guy because he's African-American. You better deliver for the black community. Not that the 99% of the black community has said anything of the sort, but it's defined that way in an election year that's very close. And then you have Hispanic leaders who had wanted a different Hispanic to be the chief, Lou Casanova, for a bunch of reasons that
here's the
couldn't
thing.
happen.
Lou
They didn't
Casanova's
want
not going to
O'Connor
happen.
Right.
Boom. So we eliminate that house.
So now what's happening is there's this whole dragged out
Who
choice.
does the mayor want? Because she's the one that makes the decision, right?
I think she's thinking a lot about politics rather than who she wants.
I used to.
But Latino leaders are not speaking up for Antonio Reyes, but black.
So why are they not speaking up
leaders
for
are-
Reyes? He's Latino.
But
I
I,
don't know.
think
That's
they are
always-
speaking up, except that they're not doing it publicly. I think,
Well,
there's
then
a
they're
big
not
difference
speaking up because it doesn't count if it's not
in
public.
terms of,
They spoke publicly for Luke Casanova. I have a feeling that he's not perceived the same way as like one of the political group Reyes.
I don't know. I'd like him.
Casanova
So.
wasn't part of the political group either.
They all rally around him. Remember when it was Kimber versus Candelaria when they had their big rallies outside City Hall? Every time as a police chief, I just wonder whether the mayor can be more forceful about whom to pick and not have these dragged out processes in the public where people who present themselves as leaders of a community make it racial.
Yeah, but
And there's
listen,
pressure
but
not
I
to
don't
make a
mi- I don't
decision
mi-
based on the merits.
Listen, I don't mind that because if black people don't advocate for black people
But
don't get jobs.
That's
So
right.
I don't mind that. It's just in this particular instance, we just don't like who's peddling the influence. That's what it is. Or some people don't like who's peddling the influence. Listen, Boise Kimber is exercising his right just like anybody else to sort of say, listen, this is what I believe, and this is who I think would be the best thing, and amass people to sort of go along with that thinking and put that's what politics is. So we can't get mad when somebody says,
You don't get mad at
this is
someone for
what we
speaking up,
think.
but a person who makes a decision. So the decisions be made based on what's going to keep us a safe city and have a well-run police department? Or the decision going to be trying to figure out who's going to help
But
you
here's
the most in
thing.
an election?
All these cats are police officers. So either any of them have some sense and history of policing. So it's not like they asked me to go be police chief.
So, Babs, you think anyone who's been a cop, no matter what their past is,
No, that's
makes
not
a
what
good
I
chief?
think. What
No.
I'm saying is they're police officers. So that's in and of itself is not the problem. That's not the problem. All of them have policing experience. They've come through the system. That's not the problem. The problem is people seem to not like the influence of Boise Kimber's involvement. That's at the heart of this. Because if it was anybody that we liked pressing this issue, no one would say a damn thing. It's just him. Now, if somebody we like say if Bill Graustein said, you know what, this is a
Or
candidate
Bill-
I like.
Bill Dyson, Juan Candelaria.
Or
yeah.
whoever. I'm just throwing some names out there. Then we
you
wouldn't
know
have a
what?
problem with it.
My whole thing is I wish our Latino community had a Bosie Kimber. You always need a silk glove and an iron fist. And the problem
But
with
does he
our
advocate-
community has been that, you know what, we're not, like you said, we're not vocal.
But wait, is it good to have someone who's advocating for getting contracts and money for himself as opposed to what's for the community?
But you know what? Everyone does that. Except the other folks know how to do it in a
Who have
very
been doing that more
subtle,
than white
in a
people?
that's right. They know how to do it in a very subtle political way.
Who has been doing that more than white
The
people?
whites have been
Yeah,
doing
I'm
it
with you.
all along. I remember, you know what?
And that's not a pass.
Wendell Harp
That's not a pass.
used to have to all the time threaten, to run somebody for office so that they can give him a contract. Otherwise, they wouldn't give him anything at all. And I think it's terrible
No, but
that you have to retort to those kind of tactics because when the pie is being cut, they're not thinking about
What
us.
maybe this pie in the sky. What if we lived in a world where even if white people did it, black Latino people, instead people in power said, I want to make decisions based on what's going to help everyone in the city be safer. I want to make decisions based on
Yeah.
who's going to be a chief, not to have
But
women
people
beat
think
up.
that it's going to be only
I
white
wanna-
folks.
But what if instead a person?
I know, right?
No, you know,
It's
Norma,
safer.
Norma, oh my God.
That's right. That's exactly it, Norma.
Your new name is Jane Henry because you hit that nail right on the head with your sledgehammer like John Henry did. My goodness.
Mhm.
You know, it is always correct as long as it's someone with less melanin in their skin. I don't get that.
Because the white man's ice is always colder.
Okay. In this
Exactly.
case, you had 7 candidates for chief. All of them were black and Latino.
Mhm.
What would be better for blacks and Latinos in New Haven if the decision were made best on who would best run a police department where women's are protected, where you're going to have domestic violence taken seriously because you've got all these people arrested, where you're going to know how the department's run, where cops aren't going to be improper with the public, where crime is going to be kept down? Or is it best when you have 7 black and Latino candidates that whoever has someone speaking up the most is most effective at pressuring
Paul,
politicians?
this is what black people want. Black people want what white people want. We want to be able to walk the streets and be safe and not beat up.
So how
we
is-
want to be able to sort of do these things. But representation is everything, because we think might be able to get a fair shake if somebody of our persuasion, of our melanin, would have
I
a
get
better
that.
chance of not harming us.
I get that. So now you had no one white is in the mix. So how should the decision be made?
I think that's the mayor's call. She's got to make that call.
How should she make the call?
I
I
think
think
it
she has
needs
to
to
look
be
and
done
see.
in a very level
put away
way,
the gun. Stop
an
trying to shoot the
even,
messenger.
equal way.
You know, as the messenger, is it the person who's bringing the message across? Is this what the problem is, as Bab said? Is it because it's Boise Kimber, or is it because these people are qualified or not?
Because are you saying the three of these people are not qualified?
Yeah, I mean,
I
They
think
have to
there. I
be.
think there are questions.
But there's always questions. They ought
there's
to be
always-
questions. I don't think
Exactly.
anybody
Right.
should come to a
and just
job
roll in,
and roll in.
especially when you're responsible for people's safety. You don't just roll in like that. No, there should be questions, and those questions should be very strong. And if the questions are strong but can be answered, please, and the answer makes sense, accept the answer.
Okay. I want
Don't
to
go into because you don't like the person.
Let's put this conversation. I want to remember this conversation in a month. Okay.
Okay, put a pin in it.
Let's remember we had this conversation. Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
And we had it.
my stance would be the same.
Okay. I'm not positive that.
No,
We'll see.
Well, I don't
Okay.
understand what the stance is.
We'll
All
see.
right, so are you
We'll see.
promoting that it should be an African American?
Did you not hear me? What I said was I want the same things as white people want, but I also understand that representation makes a difference. So I like to believe that if somebody's black sitting in that chair, I might feel a little more safer knowing that a black person is concerned about black
No,
people.
no. I'm not gonna join there. What I'm on, because God knows I've seen black people in power who haven't done a doggone thing for our people.
yes.
You know. Oh my goodness! But what I would like to see
Sometimes they're
is,
worse for our own people
Exactly,
than a white
exactly.
one would be.
But what I am
Latinos
is,
too
But
would
that's
works out
that's
the same
rare
way.
though. See, that's rare.
what I'm addressing is what Paul was saying, as far as who was pushing this person forward, and if it's a good thing, is this person is the person qualified?
Do we think
at the
Boise
end of-
Kimber knows something we don't know? Could he be right?
I don't know.
Could he be right?
Okay. 1 month from now we're gonna talk. Okay.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right. Now we're
I
talking.
hate-
We're talking.
he
on-
just
We're
makes it
talking.
seem-
on-
You know he has insight.
We're
You know,
talking. We're talking on
intel.
Pundit Friday at WNHHFM 103.5.
I'm not
live
saying anything
streamed
else.
at NewHavenIndependent.org. We got the best
Okay.
pundits in the business here. Now, let me ask you another thing, and I want you to jump on me again, okay?
Okay.
Something you're not going to agree with.
You know I will.
Okay, ready? Let's say
Oh.
you're running for re-election, and you're trying to think what decisions you make, and you balance how things are going to look. Okay, so let's say for 5 years you've been running a city where you have a very strict standard for how you enforce lead paint rules,
Oh boy.
and that if people are starting already at 4 years old, 3 years old to lose 2 IQ points a year because they're getting lead paint poisoned, you've been ordering that those apartments get cleaned up, even arresting people based on this standard. Then you decide, we got to change the standard, we don't have enough money, and you get sued about it because there are 300 kids who might get permanent brain damage. You go to court, and 4 times, 4 different judges chew you out, and you lose. They say you're wrong. You feel you're still right. Do you continue to fight it in court, or do you go back to what you were doing a year ago in how you enforce lead paint?
I mean, is this hard?
What's the cost to keep going to court? Is it more than just hiring the people? Then of course you don't go to court no more. I mean, it's like, okay, you exhaust
Listen.
that route has been exhausted.
We already know what the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So I don't understand this whole conversation because we
Here's
know what the
I can't
right.
figure. I can't figure out. It's the 4th time this week. For the 4th time.
So
The
what's
Harper
happening
administration
is
has lost in
this
court.
administration doesn't want to do what's right. They want to do what is expedient and cheap.
But what I'm trying to figure
But
out
it's
is
not
how
cheap
it's
because
not.
But it's not
stop
cheap.
piling
That's
up
the
in
part I
court.
can't figure out. So either you're going to do it because you think it's right,
Mhm.
or you think the right thing is that people don't understand that you just don't have the money and you're making the best call. But in that case, if you've lost 4 times in court, why in an election year are you fighting not to protect kids from
I
lead
don't know.
paint
Is she
when you
getting
keep
some
losing?
intel that we are not privy to?
I think that she gets advised. I think the mayor is being advised by a legal department that says, keep fighting this, we're right. 4 judges have said we're wrong, but we got to do lead paint this way. And
Where is Elliker on this? Is he hammering?
Elliker's been killing her on this. I mean, the Elliker's running against Harp, saying
just
this
saying.
isn't Flint, Michigan. We don't poison kids and fight in
Oh,
court.
damn.
He said
Oh
Flint,
yeah,
Michigan.
oh yeah, oh
He said he
yeah.
was right there in front of the health department. He
Whoa.
said we don't. I mean, this is a layup for him.
And yet we looking like Flint every moment of every
And
day
here's
that we
you
continue
got a
this.
mayor who's done more in her life than Justin Ellicker by far in public
Yeah.
health. She spent decades, the state senate and the
I
city,
know. I
Okay.
know her
caring about
record.
public
see,
health,
the whole thing
national
is-
reputation for public health. She's getting advised to fight for the right,
But
not to protect kids from lead paint and try to win when you're spending more money on outside lawyers than if you could just send an inspector.
But
Okay.
well, here, the whole thing is she's deciding to fight this based on whatever recommendation she's receiving from corp counsel or whoever the attorneys are. The ones that really need to, to
As
to
accountable.
justify their position are these folks that are telling her that she shouldn't be doing it.
Who hires them and who decides whom to listen to?
But even though you hire them because that's not your expertise. It's their expertise. So I think these folks are not really thinking globally or not globally, but citywide
or
and thinking
thinking too
about the
well.
mayor
Yeah.
and what should be correct for her. And not only the mayor, but just the people in general. That's a no-brainer to think that you're supposed to protect.
I know.
You know, but
That's
the
why
other
I'm
thing also, we're acting like this is something new. This whole lead thing has been going on for years.
I know my brother had
And
lead
then there
poisoning.
was a law. Wait a minute. Where we're at right now, we were how many years ago? We were in the same position. Then I don't know. Did all the lead finally get all cleaned up?
It's the
and
opposite.
then there's a big lull
There's the
between how
opposite.
many years?
What happened, Norma, was that we had a law about cleaning up lead paint, and then there was a lot of research done last 20 years about how much can poison a kid. So
Yeah.
now we found out that a lot less paint poisons a kid.
I wonder.
So,
I wonder if this would be a fight if it was
Did
I
we
don't know,
really
East
need
Rock
it?
neighborhoods.
Yeah.
so years ago, the Harm Administration made a great decision, I think. They decided we're going to go to what the new research says. We're going to go stricter. If there's 5 micrograms per deciliter in your blood rather than 20, we're going to enforce it. And so they did that, but then some money ran out. So they had to make a decision. Do we keep getting inspectors to enforce it, or do we go back to this old limit we had before we found out that was dangerous? So like all these families now that have 10 micrograms in their blood, those kids are losing 2 IQ points. a
And
year
yeah,
for every
here's
dead.
the thing. And let's just look at the overlap. These kids are gonna have to go to school,
Mm-hmm.
and they're gonna go to school with developmental delays and all these other kinds of things. I know. You know how I know this? Because my brother was one of these kids that was. We lived in Newhall Street, and the
You
house
see
that
now.
we lived in got torn down because it was so heavily lead paint, and so he had developmental delays for the better part of his formative years. You know, so what's going to happen is we're going to have to, these children will have to go to school. They're going to come with behavioral and developmental issues. I'm not making this up. We already know the research on this. So this is a lose-lose all the way around. So why are we still standing in the place of losing when we could be winning? And she could get some good press and optics on saying, I'm going to clean this up.
Well, I think Norma said it well.
I think Norma said it right too.
The individuals.
Them
So
who
Harry
are-
doesn't need to come in.
No, he doesn't
No.
need to come in on this
The
one.
individuals who are responsible for
Hold 'em at the gate.
advising in areas that the mayor is not an expert in, those are the people who also should be held accountable. And it just so happens that when you're on
Tell
top
them to
of
go
people,
live in there.
thank you, and that's what she should
Raise
do.
your kids over there.
What she should do is just have a press conference and let them say, and just say, hey, you know, the people who are advising me to fight, I've asked them to move in.
Yeah,
Take-
I trust
spend a
their
year.
That's all
judgment.
it is.
Spend a year.
Yeah.
Live,
That's
a,
all.
live a year,
A
in these-
year.
in these
A year.
in these residences.
Sometimes the mayor protects people that she shouldn't be
Should-
protecting.
Something, you know, something. I think you're right about that, and that
Well, the
comes
first-
from the nurturing side of her.
Oh, she's a great human being, and
She is a-
sometimes that
yep.
doesn't do great things for her
It
politically.
does not.
No, it's
politically.
interesting. I was watching Ward 25. That's where she lives. She brought some of her family and people work for her to vote at a ward committee meeting for who that ward is going to endorse for mayor when the convention comes. And she lost. It was pretty close. And it was kind of interesting to me that, and you know, she is a wonderful person. And she didn't talk to anyone the entire night she was there. She didn't ask anyone to vote for her. She didn't move the room. She didn't glad hand the way, you know, politicians kind of talk to everyone in the room. And she's kind of quieter, a little shy. And I don't know if that's going to help her in such a close election.
I mean, who's to say it's close?
She did. She for one.
I mean, she doesn't really know. I mean, people will say, no, seriously.
You're right.
Listen,
You're right.
since this Trump administration has been
So
here,
true.
everything is up for grabs as
So
far as
true,
I'm
because
concerned.
I recall about a year ago,
you think
Paul
Tony
was-
Hart's not in danger? You don't think
No.
Tony-
I
don't,
remember
I
a
don't
year
think she's
ago,
in danger
Paul
in the
was
way that
saying-
people. I think people
Paul-
hype that up so
Paul
that
was
it
saying-
looks closer than it is.
Remember a year ago, Paul, what you were saying about the state election? You were saying that there's a strong chance of it to go red.
Yeah, I thought there was, and I was
I
wrong.
know,
and
you
it went
were.
so blue.
Yeah,
And all the
it went so
Democrats
blue.
thought it was going to go red. That all the Democrats who would have been good governors didn't run
Mm-hmm.
because they
Correct.
thought there was no chance they
There
can
you
win.
go.
Oh,
So
well.
your point,
You know
so your
what?
point is that nobody knows.
Nobody knows,
But
especially in this era.
Yeah, you're
this
right.
is a real toss-up election. It really is.
Oh, they say that
'Cause
every
people
election. I don't
are
believe
not-
that.
We didn't say that about Marcus Packer. I'm sorry, Norma. Go on.
Yeah. No, it's I remember the elections in Hartford with Segarra. Okay,
Mhm.
it was an ethnic election, and see, for many years, the white community, ever since the Puerto Rican won,
In Hartford.
in Hartford, they just went to. It became a sleeping giant, and as soon as Bronin came out, then that woke up the white community, and they all came out in droves.
But the
And he ended
conventional
up
wisdom,
winning
the
against
conventional
Segarra.
wisdom is he wouldn't have won if African Americans didn't abandon Segarra and support Bronin.
Right,
Is that true?
that's true, very true.
Do you remember who Bronin hired to help him get a black church and paid for his campaign? Reverend Boysigan.
Yep. I knew that was coming. I saw that bus coming around the corner fast.
And
Yeah.
now, and then in Bridgeport, there's an election too, where an African American state senator, Mark Morgan, is running against.
I know.
Joe
I hosted
Ganim
I
you saw that
hosted a fundraiser
in
for
New
her.
Haven. Now that's
In New
instant New
Haven.
Haven. We hadn't had
Nice
that go.
turnout too.
Susan Yolen's home, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so people in New Haven care about that election.
I think
Oh, it
people.
happened for her.
I think people care about the fact that she's a black woman
Right.
running for for that seat, and she has come up through the ranks. She's well regarded and well respected and well liked.
Does she have New
Um,
Haven ties?
See, and that's the big
No,
difference
not re- I
with
mean,
the
not- I mean-
African American community and the Latino community. You see, when an African American is running, the African American community supports them. When a Latino is running, the Latinos don't. You saw what happened, right?
Mm.
They don't go in droves supporting the Latino.
Is there a Latino vote that comes out in droves?
Nationally, I could say yes.
No, in
Look,
New Haven.
No, not in New Haven.
Only in the wards where, like Fairhaven.
For Haven,
They
last time
come
there were
out.
80 votes in Ward 15.
Mm.
Wow.
So that means there is some work to be done in this community.
I think
They
people
haven't
need
felt
to
People have
be
overlooked.
Connected, yeah. The Latino community hasn't
it-
really.
it has to
they
be-
are not wooed, and they haven't really felt connected.
Yeah.
I don't even know if
You
it's
know,
so much
and the
mood or
Tommies
so
of
much.
the world, the Johnny Martinez of the world, where are they?
Well, they're
Is it-
dead.
It's
But
no
who-
matter
who in the-
Is
which
it a matter-
leaders? Where's the leadership? Who's bringing
Right.
out the Latino vote? Who's going door to door and getting?
But that's what I
Because
mean.
you know
Some
what?
work needs to happen with this community.
Because it doesn't. First of all, New Haven is not a Bridgeport and is not a Hartford, in which we have a very large Latino community in Bridgeport and Hartford.
But you're the
okay?
majority of students in the public schools now.
We may be the majority of the students, but our community is very young, Paul. Very
Right.
young. It's the
And a
youngest.
number, yeah.
You know, they're the ones who are having babies. They're very young. What's the median age of the Latino community? 21? 22? It's very young.
I thought it was a little older than that, but
But you know, New Haven, it
but-
doesn't take a lot of organizing to make an impact.
But somebody
Like,
has
if
to
you got-
take on the
If you
leadership
got
of doing that.
250 people more to vote in each of those wards that is a Latino population, you would instantly have politicians in the entire state
Yeah.
coming to your door to say, "I want your support."
I mean, I
What
think
do
we
you
have
want?"
to get the Latino community to understand shared destiny. That their destiny is tied to our destiny.
Mhm.
That we have to sort of band together. That we're stronger when we band together. I don't know if anybody's taking that message to them because I think people, like they have done for us for a long
They
time,
tried with Eva Bermudez.
disregard it, right? Like
Yeah.
disregard that community because they think it's so
Mhm.
it's a lot of diversity in the Latino community.
right.
Do you know what I
there's
mean?
a lot of
It's a
diversity
lot
in
of
the black community
diversity.
as well.
It's a lot of diversity in the black
Yeah.
community
No,
too.
not in the black community compared to the Latino community.
Yeah.
We got 21 countries here,
We have 42.
but not in New Haven that many.
We have.
So
No, but that's not just here in New Haven. We just localizing
you,
this.
Joe.
This is across the board. If you look at the I-4 corridor that did not show up for the national election, that's all Latinos over there.
So,
And
Joe,
I
is it
vote
fair to say that
Florida.
locally,
okay.
is it fair to say locally, maybe one divide the black community is Caribbean American versus African American, perhaps, but it's like nothing compared to in the Latino community in New Haven, where you had the old guard Puerto Rican leadership
Mhm.
versus the new generation Latin American
Yeah.
immigration. That to me seems like a much more challenging
It
political
is.
organizing
I
divide.
think it's very challenging because it's a very distinct difference, and it's insulting, I think, to Spanish-speaking people when you just lump them all in and say
And I think it's
Puerto Ricans.
Right.
Y'all all Puerto Ricans. Well, they're
exactly.
not. They're
They're Latinos.
Dominicans.
Right,
They're
exactly.
they're
Big
from
Mexican
South
American,
America.
big
They're
Mexican
Mexican.
American.
They're
Yes, that's not
they're
even
all these
Latin
things.
American, yeah.
And so somebody has to have the sophistication to understand that level of diversity and address it.
I know
address
someone-
it.
I know someone who might be really, really, really.
I
good
wish
for
my
that.
Spanish game was tighter because I would take that message.
Yeah, yeah, but
Deliver.
there's someone, and we know this person is pretty vocal too, and here in the city. I mean, Norma Reyes. I mean, why not Norma Rodriguez? Why not you?
I am involved with the New Haven Independent and La Voz Hispana.
And Pundit Friday, which you're listening to right now on WNHH
And you don't put your
FM.
time in.
Yeah.
Girl, I know.
WNHH 103.5 FM live
We need
streams at
some
New
young
Haven Independent.
Babs. We need
dot
some
org.
young Norma, young
Mhm.
Paul.
So anyone been eating any oxtails lately?
Oxtails.
I don't like oxtails.
You don't like oxtails? How come?
Why not?
Oh, I saw
I
it in
just-
the Dominican
I don't-
Republic,
I
man.
don't
I
like
saw the actual one before they even cut them up.
Now
or
you give me
anything.
some curry chicken, I'm all day.
So
What about
have you
curry
been
goat?
have you been by Nadine?
I don't like curry goat either.
You don't like
Have you
curry
been-
Capricorn?
have you been checking it out? Island Spice off Whaley on Winthrop.
I know where it is. Yeah.
Everyone's
So
talking
they
about
just had a big event yesterday.
Oh, did they?
The city has this great program in commercial corridors where they throw in $10,000 to match if you want to expand or fix up your small shop, and that goes a long way. So Nadine Tracy, she's for 8 years had the Island Spice Caribbean food there, and people like it. It's
Yes.
kind of hard to see sometimes. You have to be looking for it unless you're in the neighborhood.
That's
right?
Kadik's sister, by the way.
Oh yeah,
Oh, is
Whose sister?
Kadik.
it?
On my
Oh.
from
show.
the Joe Ugly show.
Mhm.
So anyway, they but the place is pretty small, so the only seats there, people kind of sat in while they were takeout. So now it's all nice, and they fixed it up. Yesterday, we have a story about in the Independent today, and they're going to have a whole seating area now.
Oh, that's
Ooh.
nice.
And then
So-
Mayor Harp was there for the ribbon cutting yesterday. Jill Marks the Alder, and everybody was feeling good about it. And they had oxtails, apparently the most popular.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, oxtail and jerk chicken is usually the big one.
I like
too.
brown stew chicken.
Well, I
Like
went to
brown
the
stew-
Dominican
cabbage.
Republic and I actually saw them live because one of the guys that I met there, he owns a meat market.
Mm,
You know, where you go over there, you just tell them what you want, they kill it for you.
mm.
I mean,
And so like
back in the
you
day,
can
like the
mean
old
fr-
flea market.
Meanwhile, in New Hallville and Prospect Hill, it looks like we're going to have a 4-way primary for Board
Really?
of Alders. So most races,
Wow.
it's lucky they can find one person to run for Board of Alders.
You got
sometimes.
4?
As Babs knows, it's a lot of work to be on the
Oh
Board
my
of Alders.
God.
So usually you
It's
have
a
one
lot of door
candidate.
knocking.
Occasionally you have 2. There are 4 filed to run in Ward
Really?
21. Now, I don't know how
Whose
many
ward
of
is
them
that? Is that
That's Steve
Nine-
Winter.
19.
I'm sorry,
18.
19, not 21. I'm sorry, Ward 19.
Is she
No,
running
no, no,
again,
no,
Justine?
21. 21.
No, Prospect Hill. and two-
19 is Kim Edwards. There are 2
Yeah.
Prospect Hill wards. There's a second one that's part of. It's the weirdest gerrymandered ward. It's a little bit of Prospect Hill. It's a little bit of Dixwell, like the St. Martin
Really?
The
townhouses.
21, yes, that goes around back
But
to
it
West
also goes
Butler.
to New Hallville.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
remember Steve Winters? He was like the young hippie guy
Uh-huh.
who beat Rodney Williams
Uh-huh.
after Alfreda retired.
Yeah.
Not after Alfreda retired, because her daughter got that one. The other one. So he won last time, and he's been working his tail off. That guy is like everywhere, and he's the guy with the long ponytail, and he rides his bike. But anyway, 3 people line up from the neighborhood: Maceo Streeter,
Who?
Streeter.
Maceo Streeter, yeah.
Mhm.
A guy named Eddie Gist, who works at the McClam Funeral Home,
Mm.
and Aeneas Nunez, who used to be down by Farnham Courts, I believe, but has moved, who cares a lot about Head Start and education. So this is going to be a 4-way primary.
So who's the union supporting?
That's the question.
Mm.
That's the question. I doubt it's going to be Steve
No, there's
Winter.
going to be a lot more primaries.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
Because I know you had a woman in the Hill, but she didn't even show up here for an interview. Named Rodriguez. Miriam Rodriguez. Is she going to be running?
Macy or who? Evelyn?
Miriam Rodriguez.
Miriam? Oh, Maria
Maria
Rodriguez
Rodriguez,
in
yeah.
the third ward.
Third ward.
Yeah, she's running in the third ward.
And is Hurt running again, the union candidate who may or may not live there? His address is a church building. Yeah.
Shots fired.
People need to know.
Yes.
People will find out.
Yes.
You know what? I remember Walter Brooks when he was running for state representative. He hired a detective because whoever was running against him didn't live in the district or something. Hired a detective.
And what did he find out?
And
That he didn't live in the
he
ward.
didn't live
Didn't live
there,
in
and so
the
obviously he
district,
couldn't
yeah.
run.
Well, you know what's interesting? When Walter Brooks was around, you often had elections where it's not just people were opposing each other with different ideas. They actually had some organization. You had like
Yeah.
teams of people
Yeah,
going to work in the election. Most of the time now, if someone says they throw their name in, like some people running for mayor, right? You just throw your name on a piece of paper. I'm running.
Yeah, but
Whereas
you,
to run, you really got to get a team of people. You got to really
you
be
have
serious.
to pull a team together.
Yeah.
that's one
No,
thing.
Walter's
But sometimes
Tommy's political mentor. He's the one who put together the black and Puerto Rican back then, the black and Puerto Rican coalition. Because in the Hill section, Walter found out that if he wanted to be state rep, he had to develop a relationship with the Puerto Rican people, and that's where the relationship was built. See, that's the big problem with a lot of folks because they're the majority. They feel they don't need anybody else, and that was the story with Dixwell and with East Shore. Exactly. The
Mhm.
whites in East Shore, they didn't want to be bothered with nobody because they didn't need to. The blacks from Dixwell, they didn't want to be bothered with anybody because they didn't need to. But in the Hill, they needed to develop the coalition in order for Walter to win.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Joe, what were you saying?
the thing
I'm
about
sorry.
the
I'm sorry,
old
Dave.
no. The thing about the old guard, where you had the likes of the Walter Brooks, the Hank Parkers, that old structure, get those guys in power. Age couldn't even make them move. I mean,
That's right, because you were with Jan Parker when she was trying to upend, get
you
out of.
you can't
Walter
get
out.
these people to get the heck out of the way. I
No.
mean, and this is the problem with
And they
with-
weren't inclusive either.
Right, and that's the problem with having that. Now, that's why you have the likes of AOC who comes in and is very strong, and I'm looking at a national level. But that's the mentality we have to have on a local level as well, where you have people with great ideas and is ready to remove the person who is there
And she had
just
a team.
because they're there.
And she had a team. She had
Yes,
a Democratic
That's the
Socialist of
structure.
America. Yeah.
She had, and you have to come together with structure. You're talking politics. You need structure.
And you need Pundit Friday. Like we have a
Yeah,
team
that's
coming together here to run down the news headlines. WNHH 103.5 FM Live Streaming in Bend, Oregon. So an interesting philosophical issue arose this week about homelessness.
Mm.
So on Grand Avenue, where there are a lot of social service buildings closer to downtown, not in Fairhaven, right, between I-91 and and Olive, these group wanted to put in a youth homeless shelter.
Oh yeah, I
And
heard about
youth
this.
meaning up to
These
25
people
years
were
old.
out there bag nasty and mean.
Well, there were big explosive public meetings against it, but there were also a lot of people for it. And you had some Yaleys who have been organizing, so some people resented that. But you also had some people who had been homeless themselves in their teens and early 20s who were also for it. And they spent months building support. So this week, a big moment came because first there were hearings. They thought they needed zoning approval to be a shelter on a street, right? That's not zoned for it. So they came this week before the City Plan Commission, which just goes over like, are your drawings okay based on the rules? And the people on City Plan are sympathetic to the homeless. The chairman has done great work at Madison his whole life working with homeless people and people who have addiction. And they said, you know what? We don't have to have a public hearing on this, and here's why. Instead of calling it a shelter, let's call it a rooming house.
Mm.
And there is zoning that says this can be a rooming house.
Now, what's the long-term effects on that? Because I recall in a certain town, excuse me, they wanted to get, because their kids weren't able to afford the town after a while, they wanted to get, create this affordable housing, but then couldn't get funding for it, and then went for low income. And did they find out the hard way that that goes into a pool?
Mm.
And the pool is, it's not just people coming in from this town anymore. It's now you have the pool. You have to take people from all over. That's how
That's
a lot of
good
people
question.
from
So
New
if you
Haven
call it
come.
something different, yeah.
Exactly. It might have something, but it'd be something else. Might
Well, in this
attach.
case, this isn't low-income housing. This is actually a place where people who are homeless and up to 25 years
No,
old,
I understand, but what
18,
I'm saying,
25 are going to go live. So you're saying other people might come because you're calling it a rooming house as opposed
Exactly.
to a shelter. Yeah, that's a good question. So they approved it. And some people said, who didn't want it, they said, well, we're mad at our neighbor. We want to hear you just didn't end around us. The other people said, just because some people spoke up vocally against it, there are lots of people in the neighborhood who are for it. We had a big, long hearing, and it shouldn't just be that a few people always get to stop something when we want to help people too. And then some other people who are very sympathetic to the project said, we want this here. We don't think the way to do it was to call it a rooming house, because if you look closely at the rules and the zoning, I'm not an expert on this, by the way, that if you look at the rules, it's really not a rooming house. We have the shared kitchen and all this other kind of stuff. Well, they do have shared kitchen, but there are certain rules about bathroom stuff. They said this is really a shelter. So some people say to get to the ending that you want, it wasn't a good idea to fudge about what the rules are. Other people say you got to move progress forward. You got to do the right thing. If there was a legally defensible way to do it, that was fine. Any thoughts?
I mean, we have a homeless problem. It has to be solved.
Yep.
So if the rules are open for interpretation, and that's what rules often are,
In religion, too.
then legal minds can sort of say, well, this is how we interpret this, because it's somebody's opinion, right? It's legal, but it's somebody's opinion. And we often, this is this thing that kills me. We often say to young people and anybody, when you are faced with an obstacle, you figure out a way to go over it or around it or under it or through it.
Mm-hmm.
We say this all the time to people.
Mhm.
Don't let anything get in your way. Figure out a way to sort of do it. Are they breaking the law?
But some people question that they might be. Because I see your point, Babs. Some people come back and say if we're ending we didn't like if in fact the law clearly allowed it, but opponents who were in charge of the
But no
commission
law
came up with a
clearly
way.
allows for anything, because anybody can
Can
challenge
challenge the law.
anything based
Right.
on their own
I'm just
interpretation
saying
of
they
what's
said
happening.
flip it. You want, if people who are controlling the commission were people who hated homeless people,
See, let me tell you what I
would
know.
you like them to try
Let me
to
tell you
stop
what I
something
know.
from going
If
in
Yale
the should?
said we want to put a dorm over there,
Be a dorm. There'll be a
that'll
dorm.
look very much like a damn shelter
It'll be a dorm.
It'll
Look
be a
like a
dorm.
shelter.
in a minute, and everybody would think that that's okay.
It's nouveau riche. Look at this. Look at the new architect.
But you know what? Look at where the Olympian-sized pool at Yale is. When you look at the facade, okay, what is
Payne
it?
Whitney
a church?
Gym?
Yeah, the Payne Whitney Gym. Supposedly, what I heard or was said to me was there was money given to them for a church.
Absolutely. No.
For
There
a
was.
church, yeah.
Yes,
wasn't
the
just a
mother-
So
church.
you see the
It was
facade as a church.
a woman gave.
The mother, it was a mother of a
Mhm.
wealthy land baron,
Socialite.
socialite
Yeah.
parent,
Mhm.
and she wanted a church there. But Yale's like, we don't need another damn church. What we need is a
What did-
gym.
What?
But she made it look like a church.
Right. Well, no.
She never
So I
went
guess
there.
there's different ways to skin the cat, right?
Exactly. But
But I
that was the
think-
whole intent. But what year that?
It sounds to me that the zoning, the board of zoning, wanted to be helpful,
Or city plan. Yeah.
or city plan wanted to be helpful, and told them how to go around so that you can get what it is that you want.
But the long
Well,
term
they need
is
to do
got
that
to
to
be.
us more often, right?
No, but we have to look
When
at
we
the
want
long
something
term, because
done.
at the end of the day, I would hate to see here it is that we're trying to have shelters. The next thing it says a rooming house, and then there's certain rules on the table now for rooming homes that versus a
A
shelter.
shelter.
But what's
And
the
then you
difference
got a
between a
problem.
rooming home and a shelter?
No, what's the difference?
Mm.
Well, one is that a shelter is supposed to help people who can't afford anything altogether, whereas a rooming house is if you could afford maybe so much dollars a month. That's a difference. There's rent
Yeah.
charge. So all of a sudden you call it a rooming house, and the guy with no money, he can't get in because it's called a rooming house, not a shelter.
Mm.
And by the way, Arts Council says Happy Make Music Day, y'all.
Yes.
There's
Yeah.
people having just music being performed at homes and
Se-
businesses all the
70
time.
free activities across this.
So
City.
it's go online for
City.
Make Music Day. Maybe
I
go to
talked
the
about it
Arts
earlier.
Council.
Yes.
They did. Okay, that sounds
No,
fun.
it's great.
Tabiza's
And-
going to be at the Eli House, I saw.
oh,
Yeah, we
wow.
need all the music we can.
I
we need
know.
all the music, honey.
All the music we can get, and we need
It's
all,
good for us.
we need all the
Healthy for
expensive
our souls.
apartments. We need all the expensive apartments we can get. Apparently,
Oh, I guess.
Uh,
Listen, I'm on the look for an apartment, and
Oh,
and,
don't worry, one's coming on right across from the old Y for you.
and no, I need an apartment like soon, and and so as I'm out there looking, because my apartment deal fell through, I was gonna.
I'm sorry about that.
Me too, because now I'm technically homeless, but
No.
I now I'm starting to feel very, very in tune to this high rent world, right? And I
Especially
have
if you're trying to get downtown.
I have a price point that I'm willing to pay, and it
Mhm.
is damn near impossible to find
You're
that.
gonna have to know somebody who like you live in their house or something, right?
Gosh,
That stinks.
it's
But wait, I'm
daunting.
confused about one thing though. That top floor of the Lexion Tower, they're not gonna have you move that into the penthouse? They're not gonna put on top Babs' penthouse.
Yeah, maybe somebody might have mercy on you
Oh,
and
no,
call
wait.
you up.
Does anybody
Babs.
know anybody
I
at
got a place for
Lexion?
you, Babs.
So if anyone's got an apartment for Babs, you know where to get her.
I
Right?
need an apartment. Preferably 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a nice kitchen,
But you
open
see-
floor plan.
This is a story that a lot of women face, and
Yeah.
especially single women. You know,
Yeah.
life is not easy out there
Hey,
for
hey,
them.
hey, hey.
Yeah.
Hello. A lot of men face this too.
Do you want to go half on an apartment, Joe?
Nah.
You guys
No.
want to be good
Come on.
roommates,
Joe's
huh?
too
We can get a
selfish. He likes
bigger
his
apartment.
privacy,
I'm good.
and he wants to be on the top of the world.
Joe's like, you're going to interrupt my
Well,
game
so
plan.
it sounds like Babs, you're not going to be waiting 2 years. Where we just learned this week at on Chapel Street, right past the I-91 in Worcester Square, where it used to be the paint place and the Board of Ed building.
Right.
It's at Hamilton and Chapel, right by the highway there. That's going to be 87 more expensive apartments.
Wait, well, where's the Comcast apartments going? I mean, is that
Those
the
are getting built. No,
No.
A few blocks past that as you're going to
Damn,
Fairhaven.
how many apartments can we?
Well, I'll tell you, there's also the New Haven Towers at Crown and High. There's a parking lot amid all those towers. We just learned this week 132 more apartments coming there too.
But are they
And
going to
what
be
about the Webster
under
Street building
$2,000?
I doubt it.
See,
How about
that's
You know
the,
what?
See,
You know
that's
what?
the
Webster Street
problem for me.
building.
I hate to say
When
it,
is
but
that
Paul
one's
is
going down, right? The
What?
Webster Street, they're right across from
That's
here.
going to be a hotel.
Oh,
Yeah.
a hotel.
Remember, we're going to happy
Right.
hour there?
Well, maybe
Oh,
I go
yeah.
check
Yeah,
into the
yeah, yeah.
hotel
We're
for
gonna
a
go prayer
while.
meeting over there.
No, but Paul, I gotta say, you were right. You were absolutely right. A year ago, Paul said, maybe a little more than a year, when these apartments were coming up and we were having a conversation, and Paul said, you know what? Maybe it's good. Let them all put up these apartments, but they're gonna fall through. And then you're gonna have affordable apartments all over the city.
We know our moment has arrived when it says in little letters and lights, Alexion Tower. Big letters, Babs' penthouse.
Paul,
That's
you know I'm working all kinds of ways. I was like, I need
The parties we're gonna
3,000
have up
square
there.
feet.
Yeah.
What?
We're going to have good parties up
You
there.
know it. And they already got a rooftop, and it's got grass, and it's got one of those little robot grass cutter things.
Are you serious?
Yes, because I was up there. I went there for lunch when it was Alexion. I had a friend who worked in the pharmaceutical. So I went in the building to have lunch. She's on like the
And
top
how about
floor.
like soirees with like jazz singers, cabaret?
Yes!
All right,
It's going to
Brenda
feel like
McDuffie joined us.
1920s Harlem and
You know, I
Paris.
look over there all the time. I never see this thing go. All this activities.
And you
going
can look
on.
way down on Joe Ugly's 40th
yes.
floor apartment.
Put a
Wave.
light sign in the window.
Yeah.
Hey,
My
thanks
goodness.
everyone for joining us today on Dateline New Haven's Pundit Friday. Thanks to the best pundits around.
Yay!
Thank you.
We
Babs
is.
Rawls Ivy, Norma Rodriguez Reyes, and Joe Ugly. Thanks to the miracle man behind the controls, Harry Dross.
Harry Joe.
We're going to take it out with the Afro-Semitic experience performing I Wish I Knew How It Would Feel to Be Free as we wait for Mercy Quay to come on and with her show, which is always a treat. The song's from the group CD, A Plea for Peace. This is Paul Bass inviting you to fly free with us all weekend long at WNHH, New Haven's home
For
for
community radio.
radio.